Good morning students. In this video we are going to see Unit 7 Heat Change of State. What is called change of state? The process of changing of a substance from one physical state to another at a definite temperature is known as change of state. The process of changing of a substance from one physical state to another at a particular temperature is known as change of state. Substances changes from one state to another state at a particular temperature is known as change of state. We have to illustrate the change of state through an example. See this diagram. Water molecules are in a liquid state at normal temperature. When water is heated at 100 degrees Celsius, what happens? It becomes steam, which is a gaseous state of matter. On reducing the temperature of the steam, it becomes water again. If we reduce the temperature further to 0 degrees Celsius, it becomes ice, which is a solid state of water. Ice on heating becomes water again. Thus, water changes its state when there is change in temperature. There are different such processes in the change of state in matter. See this diagram. First, what happens? Liquid, when heated, it becomes gas. It becomes steam, which is a gaseous state of matter. Now, the temperature reduces. What happens? The steam becomes water. Now, again, if the temperature reduces to 0 degrees Celsius, the steam becomes ice. So, these are the change of state of matter. Now, let us see what is called melting. The process in which a solid is converted to liquid by absorbing heat is called melting or fusion, in which a solid is converted to liquid. See this diagram. Solid is converted to liquid. We have to say it is called as a melting or fusion. Now, what is called melting point? The temperature at which a solid changes its state to liquid is called melting point. At what temperature the solid changes to liquid, it is called as melting point. At particular temperature, the solid changes into liquid. That particular temperature is called as melting point. So, what is called melting? Solid converted into liquid. What is called melting point? The temperature at which solid is converted into liquid. Next question. What is called freezing? What is called freezing? The process in which a liquid is converted to solid by releasing heat is called freezing. The process in which liquid is converted to solid by releasing heat. When liquid is converted into solid, it releases the heat in the substance. So, it is called as freezing. See this diagram. Liquid is converted into solid by releasing heat is very important. The temperature at which a liquid changes its state to solid is called freezing point. At what temperature the liquid is converted into solid, the temperature is called as freezing point. That particular temperature is called as freezing point. So, the temperature at which a liquid changes its state to solid is called freezing point. Now, in the case of water, the melting and boiling occur only at 0 degrees Celsius. The melting and boiling point takes place at what temperature? 0 degrees Celsius. Next question. What is called vaporization? The process in which a liquid is converted to vapor by absorbing heat is called boiling or vaporization. See this diagram. Here, when we heat the water, it produces the steam, that is vapor. So, how it produces the vapor? By absorbing the heat. So, here the liquid absorbs the heat and then produces the steam. It is called as boiling or vaporization. The temperature at which a liquid changes its state to gas is called boiling point. At what temperature the liquid is converted into gas, that temperature is called boiling point. For boiling point, melting point, freezing point, we have to write only temperature. The temperature word is very important. Next topic, condensation. What is called condensation? The process in which a vapor is converted to liquid. See this diagram, vapor is converted to liquid. How it is converted to liquid? By releasing the heat is called condensation. The process in which a vapor is converted to liquid by releasing heat is called condensation. Now the temperature at which vapor changes its state to liquid is called condensation point. At which temperature, at what particular temperature the vapor is converted to liquid, that particular temperature is called as condensation point. Now here the boiling point and condensation point of water takes place at 100 degrees Celsius. Boiling point and condensation point takes place occur at what degree? 100 degrees Celsius. So up to this we saw what is called melting, what is called freezing, and then what is called vaporization, what is called condensation. Two more questions. You already studied about melting, sublimation, condensation, everything. Okay, in lower classes also we have to study. Now also you have to see everything deeply. What is called condensation? Vapor to liquid. What is called condensation point? Vapor to liquid. At what temperature? At that particular temperature the vapor changes to liquid is called condensation point. Sublimation. See the topic, sublimation. See the diagram. Some solids like dry ice, iodine, frozen carbon dioxide and naphthalene balls change directly from solid state to gaseous state without becoming liquid. Solid is converted into gas without becoming liquid is called sublimation. So what is called sublimation? The process in which a solid is converted to gaseous state is called sublimation. Solid to gas is called sublimation. What is called melting? The process in which solid to liquid is called melting. What is called freezing? Liquid to solid is called freezing. What is called boiling? Liquid to vapor is called boiling. And then condensation, vapor to liquid. Sublimation, solid to gas without converting to liquid. So the process in which a solid is converted to gas is called sublimation. Now let us see various stages of conversion of state of matter. See this diagram. Here the solid is converted to liquid by which process? Melting process. And then liquid is converted to gas by vaporization. Now here the point where the solid is converted to liquid, that particular temperature, that point is called as melting point. Where the melting starts, or where all the solids completely melt, that point is called melting point. And then where all the liquid completely becomes vaporized, becomes steam, that point is called as boiling point. So solid to liquid, melting, liquid to gas, vaporization. And then when we reach here, gas to liquid, condensation, and then liquid to solid, freezing. So these are the various stages of conversion of state of matter. Next topic, latent heat. What is called latent? What is the meaning for latent? The word latent means hidden. So latent heat means hidden heat or hidden energy. Now let us see the latent heat through an experiment. See this experiment. Take some crushed ice cubes in a beaker and note down the temperature using a thermometer. Keep some ice cubes in a beaker and then note down the temperature using thermometer. Now the temperature in the thermometer is 0 degrees Celsius. Now you have to heat the ice cubes in the beaker. So when we heat the ice cubes, the ice is melting to form water. Now record the temperature by using a thermometer. Now record the temperature at regular intervals and it will remain at 0 degrees Celsius. At regular interval of time period, the temperature remain constant at 0 degrees Celsius. Up to where? Up to the whole ice is converted to liquid. Till the whole ice is converted to liquid, the temperature remains as 0 degrees Celsius. Now again heat the beaker again and record the temperature. Now you can notice that the temperature will rise to 100 degrees Celsius and it will retain the same even after continuous heating. When we heat again and again, the temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. The whole mass of the water in the beaker is vaporized. Till the whole mass of the water in the beaker is vaporized, the temperature remains at 100 degrees Celsius. In first case, the temperature is at 0 degrees Celsius when the whole ice is converted to liquid, and then the temperature remains as 100 degrees Celsius when the liquid is converted into vaporized, that is when the water becomes steam. So in the above activity, the temperature is constant at 0 degrees Celsius until entire ice is converted to liquid, and again constant at 100 degrees Celsius until all the ice is converted into vapor. Why? What is the reason? It is because when a substance changes from one state to another, a particular amount of heat energy only absorbed by the substance, or the particular amount of heat energy is liberated by the substance. So this energy, this particular heat energy is called as latent heat. So from this we have to see what is called latent heat. The latent heat is the amount of heat energy absorbed or released by a substance during a change in its physical states without any change in its temperature. Heat energy absorbed or released by a substance during a change in its physical state. Change in physical state means solid is converted into liquid or liquid is converted into gas. So during its physical state, heat energy is absorbed and released by a substance without any change in temperature. In previous activity, there is no any change in temperature if the one state is converted into another state. So without any change in temperature is very important. So what is called latent heat? Latent heat is the amount of heat energy absorbed or released by a substance during a change in its physical states without any change in its temperature. See this diagram. Heat energy is absorbed by solid during melting process, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid during freezing. Okay, see here solid, liquid. Now the y-axis temperature, x-axis heat supplied. When we heat the solid, temperature remains constant at this particular point as solid turns into liquid. So at this point all the solids are converted into liquid. This is called a latent heat of fusion. And then see here the liquid, when we again heat the liquid, here the temperature remains constant at this point when all the liquid are converted into gas. Now what is called the latent heat of fusion? Heat energy is absorbed by the solid during melting, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid during freezing without any temperature change. It is called the latent heat of fusion. See this diagram. Here the heat energy is absorbed by the solid. So in which process the heat energy is absorbed? Melting process. And this heat energy is released in which when the solid is converted into liquid. So here the heat energy is absorbed by the solid during melting, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid during freezing. So during the freezing time, the liquid releases the heat energy. So during the melting process, the solid absorbs the heat energy, and then liquid liberate the heat energy during the freezing process without any change in temperature is called latent heat of fusion. Latent heat of vaporization. What is called latent heat of vaporization? Heat energy is absorbed by a liquid during vaporization, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the vapor during condensation without any temperature changes. This is called latent heat of vaporization. So heat energy is absorbed by a liquid during vaporization. See the diagram. Heat energy is absorbed by the liquid during the vaporization, and then the heat energy is liberated by the vapor during condensation. Here the liquid is absorbing the heat energy and then gas is liberating the heat energy. So this is called a latent heat of vaporization. All this process takes place without any change in the temperature. So heat energy is absorbed by a liquid during vaporization and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the vapor during condensation without any temperature changes. This is called a latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat, when expressed per unit mass of a substance, is called specific latent heat. So when we express this latent heat for a particular mass of a substance, we use the term specific latent heat. Now this specific latent heat is denoted by the symbol capital L. If Q is the amount of heat energy absorbed or liberated by m mass of a substance, Q is the heat energy absorbed by a substance or released by a substance. The substance having mass m during its change of phase at a constant temperature, that if the temperature remains constant, then the specific latent heat is given as L is equal to Q by m. Here L is the specific latent heat, Q is the heat energy, amount of heat energy, m is the mass of the substance. Now what is called specific latent heat? The specific latent heat is the amount of heat energy absorbed or liberated by unit mass of a substance during change of state without causing any change in its temperature. The heat energy absorbed or liberated by unit mass of a substance. Unit specific means you have to take a quantity, particular quantity of the mass of a substance during change of state without causing any change in temperature. If there is no any change in temperature, the heat energy absorbed and liberated by unit mass of substance, we have to say it is called specific latent heat. Now what is the unit for specific latent heat? The SI unit of specific latent heat is joule per kg. We already know that specific latent heat L is equal to Q by m. What is the unit for Q? Q is heat. So the unit for heat is joule, and then the unit for mass m is kilogram. So the SI unit of specific latent heat is joule per kilogram. Thank you, students.